Hi, just to clarify, it's not just the profits. We have bought, in Nigel's case, 5,000, in my case, £3,000 worth of shares in two companies, and Woodlarks will get the lot. So I very much hope that the shares go through the roof and that Woodlarks will get the payday it deserves. If you have not found time, after the tea break, which is after Nigel's next session, go upstairs, go to the Woodlark stand. I'd also recommend the Distill stand. I had a very nice piece of red leg rum there, and then a free glass of champagne at Chapeldown. Really, you can't lose upstairs. Okay, 2 golden shares. Nigel, you've invested £5,000 in which company?
Well, I must confess, there was a placing about a week and a half ago, so I've already done it because I thought the placing price was very attractive, and I wanted Woodlarks to get away to a good start and make some money. So I put it into a company called Franchise Brands. The placing was at 67p, and at the moment they're about 87p.
Okay.
So Woodlarks is off to a good start, hopefully. We can talk about the company more later, but...
Yeah, well, let's talk about the company a bit now, because we're not...
What are you going to do?
No, you're after you know, age before beauty. Why? I mean, I'm looking at this. This is a company that's run, you always go on about management. It's run by your friend Stephen Hemsley, who was the man who was behind the fantastic growth at Domino's Pizza. And it's another franchise business. Is that the key to it, management?
Yes, as always. In my view, I mean, Stephen and I are large shareholders in Franchise Brands. I have to say that. Stephen Hemsley, in my view, was the man who turned Domino's from a very good amateur business into a really professional business. And in my opinion, he's the best person in the country at franchise. He understands franchise. He understands that you've got to have happy, profitable franchisees doing well in their business for you to do well as the franchisor. So Franchise Brands has just bought, I would describe it as it's called Metro Rod, which is the dyno rod, which we're all familiar with, of the corporate world. So, you know, toilets, sewers, leaks, etc.
It's sort of sexy business.
Which I love, because as far as I can see, that's not disruptable, to use that phrase. I can't see... You know, sewers and pipes and everything are getting older and older and older, and I can't see the internet's going to disrupt that, unless I've got it wildly wrong. But mainly, I think Stephen. You know, I mean, obviously Domino's was a phenomenal success under Stephen, and I think Stephen's got the bit between his teeth. He's invested a huge amount of his wealth in the business, which for me counts volumes. So I think it's a very interesting long-term investment.
I looked at the note which the house broker did on this, and it forecasts earnings per share of in calendar 2017 of 2.72p, up from 2.39, and 3.39p in 2018. That puts the shares on a 27p of 32. It's not quite what I associate with value investing with Britain's Buffett, surely. It's quite a high PE.
Yeah, oh yeah, don't buy it because it's on a low PE. But Domino's was never on a low PE, ever. And I think Stephen's that good. I think and hope that the EPS will be, you know, a bit better than that.
Right.
But it is not a cheap share. But Domino's was never a cheap share either.
It's not a cheap share in the sense it's not one that's going to go through the roof on a short term. But presumably the argument is, I mean, I only gave you the 27 PE because I was pulling your leg. The 2018 PE falls to 25.9, so that puts you on a peg of 2018 of just 1. So you're paying for quality, is what you're saying.
I think so, and I think we would be very disappointed if we couldn't do a bit better than those numbers. You know, because I mean, there's a basic rule in the stock market, which is, I mean, I must try and get this the right way around: under-promise, over-deliver. If anybody forgets that, you get killed, as Tom will vouch for. So that's the whole object. You under-promise, and then you must over-deliver, because that in growth companies is what the stock market expects, and woe betide you if you let them down.
Right, so Nigel's £5,000 has gone into franchise brands. My £3,000 has also gone into a placing which has already happened. So we both cheated. It went into the IPO of Skin Biotherapeutics. Skin Biotherapeutics is a spin-off from Optibiotics. I was lucky enough to invest a lot of the company's money very heavily in the Optibiotics IPO, which was at 8p. The shares are now 86.5p, and we've got a whole load of warrants at 8p as well. What's not to like about that? So we've done very well out of Optibiotics. You heard, or many of you will have heard, Steve O'Hara from Optibiotics talking earlier about biomes, things which we're going to be able to have in our food and will make us all thin and healthy. The same sort of technology is going to be used by Skin Biotherapeutics on a whole range of skin afflictions, dermatological applications, I think is the phrase. The company will, I believe, follow Optibiotics in terms of being able to deliver commercial agreements to commercialize its IP in a relatively short time. The company's raised 4.5 million at 9 pence and is valued at just 10.5 million quid rather. This is where Optibiotics was 2 or 3 years ago. Optibiotics retains a 42% stake in Skin Biotherapeutics, and it's my hope that Steve O'Hara will do the decent thing and distribute that out to us in specie in due course. But for the time being, I see a lot of excitement in Optibiotics, and people will know that I picked it in the Dragon's Den earlier, even though the shares are now 86p. But I think part of the excitement will be down to Skin Biotherapeutics, and the shares should do very well after the IPO, which is good news for Woodlarks, good news for we lucky Optibiotics shareholders, and I think will be good news for the company as well.
And as somebody who's not a shareholder in either of those, I must admit I'm a huge believer that track record doesn't tell you everything, but it's probably the best we've got. And what happened to the first company has obviously been 8 to 80 is tremendous. Doesn't mean it'll happen to the second company, but it's not about it's track record's very important.
It is one of those things. The FCA always insists on people putting out health warnings saying past performance is no guide to the future, but actually, as a general rule, it is.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right, now you've got, you're on stage next, Nigel, with Paul Scott, who was meant to do a podcast with me earlier today, and as those who were there knew, Paul Scott actually went to the wrong venue, so only turned up halfway through. Luckily, he is here for this one in full. Malcolm Stacey, are you ready to take place? Thank you very much, Nigel. Now, by the way, so before we go, if you've had your badge scanned by those lovely ladies wearing the blue dresses and having a UK Investor share, UK Investor sash, you'll get a note from us on Monday with more details about both of these companies, and you will also get a note when we decide to sell. Nigel tends to be a very, very long-term holder, but it's Woodlarks, and they can do with some cash. So when you've doubled your money, I'm not quite such a long-term holder as Nigel. But I hope very much to be banking a lot of profits for Woodlarks. If you are registered, you'll get an email from me saying I've banked those profits. So make sure you get your badge scanned. Now, over to Malcolm.
And I won't sell.
He won't sell his own shares, but he'll sell the Woodlarks ones.
No.
Oh, no, you'll buy them off them. All right, okay.